What if dinosaurs were brought back to life in 2021? Imagine waking up in the morning, pouring your coffee, looking out the window of your backyard to see a flock of pterosauruses flying through the sky. Okay, I don't think they flew in flocks, but you get what I mean. It would be really weird. But what would life on Earth look like if that were the case? Would humans and dinosaurs be able to coexist? Would humans live underground? Let's think about it for a little bit. Firstly, there are actually many people who would argue that dinosaurs do still in fact exist today. Birds are of course descendants from dinosaurs, although when we think of the word dinosaur, a blue jay probably isn't the first thing you think about, but that's the thing with evolution and extinction. We don't get to decide what sticks around. And to be honest, as cool as it would be to see a live T-Rex in the flesh, I'll probably just stick to blue jays. I guess the potential answer to this hypothetical question might lie in how the dinosaurs were brought back to life, or if they were even brought back to life at all. What I mean is that if scientists use DNA from fossils in order to clone a dinosaur and bring one back to life, compared to if the asteroid hadn't hit Earth 66 million years ago and dinosaurs just never became extinct in the first place. Different things are likely to have happened in each of these scenarios, so let's take a look at both. For a second, let's say that 66 million years ago, Earth wasn't hit by a 15-kilometer wide asteroid that hit the planet with a force of 10 billion atomic bombs. Let's say that this didn't sear the Earth for hundreds of miles in each direction, or that there weren't insane super tsunamis around the planet, and let's say that the dinosaurs on Earth never got wiped out. I mean, there are some experts that have suggested that if the asteroid had hit just a few moments even earlier or later, it wouldn't have plunged into the shallow Yucatan and instead would have plunged deep into the Pacific or Atlantic Oceans, and this would have absorbed some of the shock, and it also would have limited the expulsion of sulfur-rich sediment, which changed the atmosphere of the Earth for years. It still would have been catastrophic, and there would have been mass extinctions, but it definitely would have given some dinosaurs at least a fighting chance. So let's say, for a moment, that that's what happened, for the sake of the question. If some dinosaurs had lived because the asteroid plunged into the depths of the ocean instead, there are a multitude of things that may have happened. There are some people who believe that dinosaurs would have been driven to extinction anyway because of the changing climate. Some argue that dinosaurs were coming to the end of their reign and that the mammals would have soon taken over, but I'm not so convinced that that would have been the case. I think it's just as likely that the dinosaurs would have evolved to adapt. I mean, that is what life does, after all. This isn't to say, however, that climate change wouldn't have been something that was an obstacle to overcome. 55 million years ago, the Earth went through an event where the planet saw global average temperatures reach heights that are 8 degrees hotter than today, and much of the planet was covered in rainforests. Because of this hot atmosphere and abundant vegetation, this would have potentially paved the way for some kinds of longer-necked sauropods to thrive. Many experts agree that through time, it is likely that had dinosaurs continued living, they would have gradually become smaller, and part of this is due to the fact that it is hypothesized that their diet would majorly consist of flowering plants. Another big event in the history of the Earth that the dinosaurs would have had to overcome took place 34 million years ago, and this is the separation of South America and Antarctica. And this wouldn't have been the last either. There would have been many obstacles for them to go through, but other species have managed to do it, so I have faith in the dinosaurs. It is impossible to say that had the dinosaurs not been wiped out, we would even be standing here right now. Before the extinction of most dinosaurs, mammals were pretty low in the ranks. In fact, most mammals weren't any larger than, say, a rodent, and it wasn't until the dinosaurs were gone that mammals began to take over. It is entirely possible that had the dinosaurs continued on this planet, that mammals wouldn't have evolved small little burrowing creatures hiding from the huge lizards stomping around. And in a world where that's the case, that means no humans. In the extremely off chance that the dinosaurs managed to live and humans also found a way to evolve and exist, dinosaurs wouldn't look like the fossils we have of them in reality. So much time has passed and they would have continued to adapt, and their appearance would reflect that. There probably would be many entirely different kinds of dinosaurs that we have never seen before. And because of the climate change aspect and the ice ages that these guys would have had to have lived through to get to this point, it's likely that dinosaurs would be fuzzy and covered in either fur or feathers. I wonder if humans would have had dinosaurs as pets at that point. I guess people with pet birds kind of do already. So what if scientists took DNA from a dinosaur fossil and used that to clone and bring a dinosaur to life tomorrow? Well, first of all, that would be a mix of the coolest and most terrifying thing. I mean, let's hope we'd start with something like a Stegosaurus and not a Gigantosaurus. Unfortunately, if this were the case, things probably wouldn't be good for that dinosaur. It's unlikely that the plants we have to offer now in our diet would mix with the digestive tract of a dinosaur. The planet was extremely different all of those millions and millions of years ago, and the dinosaur wouldn't have been around to adapt and change with the environment, so it probably wouldn't have had an easy time eating, if it could even eat at all. There are also some important obstacles when it comes to the idea of cloning at all. The first hurdle would be the fact that it would be quite difficult for scientists to even procure a DNA sample that is robust enough from the dinosaur fossils to even be able to clone. The next obstacle scientists have to overcome is how to isolate the proper DNA. For example, if scientists found some sort of blood-sucking insect fossil from the Jurassic era and they decided they wanted to clone it, how would they be able to ensure that the DNA they take isn't contaminated with either blood from the animals it had been feeding on or from other creatures that have since come into contact with the material the insect is encased in? You see where I'm going? It would just be difficult. If we somehow found a way to do this and cloned a bunch of dinosaurs and let them roam free, like I mentioned before, it's probably their diet that would get them. Many plant-eating dinosaurs would get sick and even possibly die from snacking on our plants that exist today. And then the meat-eating dinosaurs would then be eating the meat of these dinosaurs who got sick, which in turn could make them sick as well. And if the T-Rexes that have been brought back to life just start snacking on us humans and other mammals, well, chances are they'll still get sick because we have ingested the things that exist on the planet, and not to mention no dinosaur has ever eaten a human before, and maybe we're just gross to them. I mean, I hope we are. There are a plethora of things that could have happened had the dinosaurs never been extinct, or should we choose to bring them back. The history of this planet is so rich and interesting, and it's very cool to take a peek into the what-ifs of if things here on Earth had gone in any other directions. Perhaps there's an alternate timeline out there where small, furry dinosaurs live in everyone's home and become a part of our family. Or maybe there's another one where dinosaurs are still roaming the Earth and all mammals are the small, furry things burrowing underground to stay out of the way, and no humans even exist. There are so many possibilities out there. Thank you guys so much for checking out today's video. Make sure you hit the thumbs up if you enjoyed it and hit subscribe to see more. Stay curious, LBQ, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!